question. I'll ask you the second question, bro. Um, how do you think insecurities impact your life and the people around you? Or how do you reckon that insecurities affect, or like for an insecure person, how do you think it impacts their life and the people around them? I guess that's the best way of putting it.
Um, I tend to take a pretty spiritual approach on this one, bro. But
Mhm.
I don't want to scare um, those of you that have an insecurity about a certain thing. But um, what I've tend to find through experience is like the more you focus on an insecurity, the more it becomes a reality. If that makes any sense.
For sure.
Personally, I believe whatever you think about the most will always come true. Come true. Fuck my English, bro. I actually can't remember this shit today. Comes true, bro. Anyway, yeah. I personally think whatever thoughts you have in your head, whatever fills your head, will always become a reality. So, and insecurities is one of those things where it's kind of like a parasite. It just eats at your mental, it eats at your thoughts. It just pops up at like certain random points in the day. So I think the way it really impacts you is in every single sense. Like you could be outside playing basketball with some friends, and then all of a sudden you get that um, that little glimpse of the insecurity, and it just ruins everything. You're shooting bricks all the time. But it applies to everything, obviously. Sometimes it will just come out of nowhere, right? And the more you think about it, the more it pesters in your head, the more you kind of attract things that make it a reality, or attract scenarios that make it a reality. Like certain things will just start happening that will kind of reaffirm your insecurity. Does that make sense, bro?
That does, yeah. I think you're speaking facts.
Yeah, it's not so much that those things are happening because that you're thinking of the insecurity. It's because you're hyper focusing on it. The only thing you realize is those little moments. You don't see anything else.
Yeah, I just want to kind of chime in there. I think like when you're feeling anxious or insecure about something, the lens that you have on, like you could be talking to your mate and they could be saying the exact same things to you, or even like your girl or whatever, right? They could be saying the exact same things, but because you're already feeling anxious, like fuck, damn, like there's something wrong or whatever, the way that you even interpret those messages or the cues is in a completely different way to what was originally intended, you know what I mean? And like it's kind of like a self-fulfilling like a prophecy, because now it's because you're interpreting it in a different way that you're acting a different way, which is once again kind of it's reaffirming like maybe I'm not enough, you know, because like clearly whatever I do isn't working in this situation. But it's like the act, like what's actually happening, kind of like what you said before, what's actually happening and what you're kind of making it out to be are two completely different things, you know?
Exactly. You're completely right about the filter thing. It's like someone will give you some sort of advice, but you'll see it in the completely wrong way, if that makes sense. So like every little thing will reassure that your insecurity is true. That's just how they work. It's backwards, but that's just how it is.
Sure.
But that's how I think like insecurities can really impact anything. To be honest, it can impact your studies, it can impact your mentality, your outlook on life, your productivity, yeah, just your overall happiness and well-being, man. Like it can definitely be a destructive thing. Like it can ruin friendships, relationships. Obviously, I don't want to make this sound like the end all be all, but it can be scary for sure. But yeah, like I don't want to scare you people off and just be like, the world's shit. You're gonna get shafted by insecurities.
Yeah.
Truth is, they can be scary to face for sure. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it's easy, you know. But yeah, I think it can definitely impact everything if you let it. That's the main thing. What about you, brother? What do you think?
Right. So like I can't really speak on anyone else's life, but I can speak on my own experiences, I guess, when it comes to insecurities. I think like in high school, like I was dating this girl, and back then like I was super insecure, like and like it took me a while to kind of, it's only reflecting back now that I can kind of see the root cause of like for what it was, right? Back then I didn't really have much going for me, you know, like I was just in school, like I didn't really I didn't really care too much about my studies and shit, you know what I mean? So it was kind of just like I was just going to school just for the sake of going to school. The Wi-Fi cut out.
No, it's all right. It's all good.
So, yeah. So yeah, I was just going to school for the sake of going for school, and it was just to kind of get VC over and done with and all that stuff. So like, my distraction from all of like the drudgery of day-to-day school was her, right? So then so like what happened is like at the start it was calm because it was like year 10, so like we could just talk all the time. Like I had all her attention and stuff, and so because she became kind of like my escape from just how shit life was, I guess, or boring life was. That's probably the better way of saying it. I started investing heavily. Like my happiness was based completely around her. And then as soon as like some other stuff popped up, like when school, like she was she's a smart girl and stuff. So then when school started getting busy and stuff, and she wanted to focus more on like VC, obviously, right? Like that was like a big hit for me because I was like, damn, bro, like who, like why aren't you talking to me? You know what I mean? Like that kind of cycle came in, and like that was like the full force of insecurities playing up. And like what I noticed is like looking back on that time in my life, I think I projected a lot. Like when you're insecure, you project a lot. It's always when things are going good, it's I'm the reason that it's all going well. But as soon as shit's going bad, it's like you're the reason that things are going bad in my life. When really, whether or not it's going well or bad, it's mostly it's my fault. You know what I mean? But I kind of like because I was so insecure, it was so easy for me to like kind of deny that I had any part to play in my own downfall, I guess. And over time with with the insecurities and stuff, it made me a jealous person, a toxic person, like someone that like back then, I guess my concept of love, like and like my understanding of love now is my kind of definition of love is when you do things for someone else without like it's altruistic, it's all super ego based. So you're not doing things expecting anything back in return, right? You're doing things for just the sake of doing things. Like you love your parents, and therefore even if it's like to drive 5 hours to the doctors for them, you drive them, or you'll wait, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, like you don't expect anything back from doing that action. And I think that's how, like, if you love someone, then that's how it should be, right? And you don't have to just like, it could be general love, like whatever. It doesn't have to be just romantic. Any form of love stems from the same place. But anyway, here it made me like, because I was so insecure, it made me a toxic person. So I was doing things out of spite, out of like a bad intention, you know, like I'd say things that I know would, I guess, like hurt her, or like, you know, whatever it was at the time that I was doing, it wasn't with a good intention. And obviously, like my insecurity was, damn, like because now she's focusing on other things, she'll leave me, right? Like fuck, like I'm not enough for her or whatever. And then because I was like, I didn't have any mindfulness that this was an insecurity, rather it was her fault and whatever, because I was projecting so hard. Like this goes exactly back to what you said. She ended up like breaking up with me or whatever. And that was because of like, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like if I hadn't associated myself so hard with this insecurity, then like the way that I saw her, the way that we communicated, all my actions leading up to that point wouldn't have taken place. And therefore, like, who knows, even today she might have been here. I don't know, right? But I'm saying, like, looking back, I can only blame myself and my insecurities for driving the people away that I cared about. And yeah, and after that was a big turning point for me in my insecure life, I guess. But like after that, it was like I was very much more mindful of, and like I guess even now, like now it's probably like last year, like when I went through my whole meditation phase, that was when I became really mindful of my insecurities and damn, like fuck, like this is my fault, like I need to do better here. And I think having that mindfulness, that even when like you start feeling like let's say in a romantic relationship, right, as soon as you start feeling like fuck, like oh shit, like she's gonna leave me, or oh damn, like I wonder what she's doing, you know, like all that kind of stuff, like she's probably out there talking to someone else or some kind of thing. As soon as you catch it at that point in time, you're like, bro, I'm being like dumb, you know what I mean? Like this is not a logical explanation for anything. It's just my own lack of I don't know, like lack of insecurity. It's my own insecurity that's popping up right now.
Yeah.
Then you can, like, as soon as it's kind of like a doctor, right? If like you go into the, like if the doctor doesn't diagnose it, then you can think, like let's say you cough, you think it's COVID and you're tripping out because you think it's COVID. but you go to the doctor and it's just the normal flu or just a normal cold, right? Same thing here, like because you haven't, like, because you're not mindful of that this is an insecurity, you're projecting, you're doing all these things that are kind of going out of your way to hurt the people that you love or whatever, right? When really, if you had just been just a tad bit mindful that, damn, this is an insecurity that I have to kind of get over, then it's no longer the other person's fault, and you can open up clear communication and be like, yo, this is making me feel this way. Like, can we talk about it? Or, yo, like, just give me some time just to process this, or just, you know, those kind of little things, like, yo, can we communicate just a little bit better? You know, those kinds of things like that just make it just that much easier to kind of control that insecurity, you know. And obviously, like, I'm talking in a romantic sense. If it's with your romantic partner or whatever, if they love you, they'll listen to you, you know what I mean? And it's your responsibility to kind of be like, to kind of put the relationship first, and I guess go out of your way to be like, yo, like, this is what we need to work on, or this is what I feel like I need to work on. And if it, like, he'll help you or she'll help you to achieve, to, like, for you to be a better person, you know, because that's what you do when you, like, you try to build the other person up, not break him down, if that makes sense, or tear him down. But yeah, I think, like, that kind of went off, but insecurities as a whole, what it does is it drives the people that you love away from you, and yeah, it just makes you a bad person in a way, like, because you're projecting so hard, you know, all the things that go wrong, exactly as you were saying, it's kind of, you blame it on everyone else, when really, like, if everyone's living your life, then the only common denominator is you. You know what I mean? It's not everyone else. So I think it just being that little bit mindful is kind of good. Yeah.
Amazing answer, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's pretty gutsy to share, like, an insecurity like that deep, you know. So props to you, bro.
I'll probably cut that out in the video.
No, bro, we're into it.
I'm joking.
No, but yeah, thanks for sharing that, bro. It's definitely tough to share something like that. So